What up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about Giorno GER and his Golden Experience Requiem versus Goku, and a couple of topics and debates about, Giorno GER and what would happen if he was to face up against Goku. Because we've heard quite a bit about this character. We've heard that he has one of the most broken abilities in all of fiction, that most characters can't really beat him. There are some that could. They would just need to be really, really fast. Either have infinite or inaccessible speed, and have to be, multiple levels of, dimensionality and above, reality warping and all that stuff. So they're saying that, you have to be really, really powerful just to be able to handle his ability, because he has the ability to revert everything to zero. So if you are going to attack him or are thinking of attacking him, his Golden Experience Requiem activates his ability, which basically reverts everything backwards, and as it does, whatever you were going to plan on doing gets turned back, so you can't really do it. So every time they try to attack him, it's not going to work. That, and then he has another ability which is called Death Loop, where when he kills you, you basically go in a Death Loop where you go in an infinite death cycle, which is also very broken of an ability. So those two abilities are pretty broken, and most characters cannot really match that. And usually people's argument is, well, this character could just speed blitz him, and the argument to that is, well, that can't really happen because in one of the fights where Giorno was against this mob boss guy, he had his stand, and it was called the Crimson King. And the Crimson King's ability, basically, he can kind of like manipulate time to the a part where he can see forward in the future what actions are going to happen, and as he sees it, he sees if he's going to lose, so he can kind of like stop time and then selectively choose which part of the time that he can erase. So he pretty much has many different abilities. He can see through the future what's happening, and then selectively kind of like put them in a time stop, and then basically erase specific parts of time. And that's how he constantly won and got everything in the series. And I think it was like part 6, if I'm not mistaken, part 6 or part 5. But oh no, it was part 6, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So this is why he was always winning. And once when he fought against Giorno, he basically froze him in time, and he saw his moves, and he was basically gonna counteract him and beat him. But it didn't work because his Golden Experience Requiem was able to move in that stop time, even though Giovanni wasn't. And this is also another great ability he has, where usually people say, well, he could get speed blitz and killed because Giovanni was, even though in the JoJo universe they're kind of powerful, him as a character, he is not that powerful compared to other fictional characters. He can easily be one-shotted. He can easily be speed blitz. He can easily be overpowered, because when it comes to his physical attributes like speed, strength, and durability, it's not really that up there. But with this ability and the fact that his stand can move independently without him, usually these stands have to they work and move because of the stand user. But in this one, the stand can move without the stand user due to the fact that he absorbed the arrow that creates them, it turns them into stand users, and he absorbed it while he was already a stand user, upgrading his power. And now he was able to upgrade it to such an extent that it could work individually without him. So even though he was stopped in stop time, Golden Experience Requiem itself was able to move and fight. So people were saying, well, it was able to move in stop time, meaning that if you can move in time that stopped, that means you would have inaccessible speed, so you would have to move faster than time to be able to handle him, which is really, really fast. So even though the JoJo characters and Giorno GER is not that fast, his Golden Experience Requiem works individually separate from him, and he is fast enough to move and stop time. So that's also a kind of argument. And when it comes to somebody like Goku, Goku's really powerful, and we've seen him beat very powerful characters. He can easily obliterate them, but if he gets rewinded back in time, he can't really do anything right. And the argument of speed blitzing him doesn't work either, due to the fact that Golden Experience Requiem can move through stop time, and we've seen him move through stop time. So he would be technically faster than Goku too. And people say that Goku hasn't shown speed on that level, so he couldn't just speed blitz him, and he would just be reverted. And then some people would go even further with a more dumb argument was saying, well, all Giovanni Golden Experience Requiem would have to do is touch Goku, and then he'll be in a death loop. That's not how a death loop works. He didn't just simply touch the Crimson King. He did a lot more than just touch him, and I'll show it and I'll explain it in this video. But that's also another argument that he could easily put him in death loop. So that's what they're saying, he could beat Goku. A lot of people contest that by saying that it's not simply a touch, you have to kill them to do so, which I also agree, and I'll get into why I think that's the case. But you would have to kill him, so he wouldn't win that way. But still, the JoJo fans are like, well, okay, let's say he can't kill him. That doesn't change the fact that Goku also can't kill him, so there will be pretty much a stalemate. So the argument is pretty much either, Golden Experience Requiem or GRE. The reason why I keep on saying the full name is because the initials and stuff is kind of hard. I keep on forgetting. I want to keep on saying GRE instead of GER. I'm pretty sure. Golden Experience. Yeah, it's supposed to be GER, but it keeps saying GRE. So I'm gonna just say the full name. So sorry if it gets a little annoying. But Golden Experience Requiem, like I said, they say that he could either. The argument is either just by touching him, he puts him in death, thus Goku loses. But there's a lot of disagreements with that. Or the other one, which is widely and completely accepted, is the fact that if he reverts him back to zero, it's basically going to be a stalemate, and Goku can't really speed blitz him unless if he's faster than time itself, which that's the only way you can do it because he was able to move through, erase time itself and stop time. So that's the arguments that they have. But going through the manga and the story, the thing about a Golden Experience Requiem, the problem with it is there isn't much of a showing. We've only seen it one time, and that was towards the tail end of part 6, where we get into the final fight. He only came in the last few chapters, did his thing, and then the other chapters after that, it was just them wrapping up the story, and they didn't get him shown again. Some people argue that maybe this powered up state is just temporary and not permanent, so there might be an argument there that at that moment you can beat him, but after that the power might have gone down and gone away. But there's no real argument for that either, so we can't really definitively use that as a counter argument to for Goku's side against Giorno and his Golden Experience Requiem. And mainly it's not Giorno that's doing anything because he's not really that powerful. It's the Golden Experience Requiem being able to move independently without him. So even if it affects his stand, because usually when it comes to the stand users, the stands that they use is dependent on themselves. So if they are attacked or killed, then their stand goes away. That still works here. The only difference here is that in this one, usually if you was to stop them in time, that they wouldn't be able to use their stand, and their stand would be stopped in time. The only difference here is the stand can actually move individually without that. But going through it, let's explain how the power works. And since it was very brief, there's not much to go through, but it also makes it kind of hard to make an argument for or against this debate, because in the end of the day, there's just not enough evidence or information to see the full extent and scope of what the abilities are, and they don't go in depth and explain it very well either. There's some people out there that made videos that have gone more in depth, but still it's mostly assumption on what it might be. It isn't fully, and they have multiple other parts after this, but the other parts after this, they don't really mention him or go on to it, so it's kind of like it's left up in the air. So he's considered at this point to be the most powerful out of all the stand users, not due to his sheer strength, but due to the sheer ability he has. So we do see some pretty crazy stuff. When first the Crimson King is activated and is used on Giorno is actually frozen, and he's seeing what's happening, and as he's seeing it, he's basically like, oh, okay, so he's going to do this and that, so I'm going to just erase that part of the time, which is pretty much just like rewinding time, so I can do my part. So he will know what's going to happen in the future, and then he rewinds it so he can go and fight him. And at this point, he's stopped time, so he's seeing the plans. But as this is happening, he's trying to attack him, and as he tries to attack him, he can't hit him. He keeps on stopping, and he keeps on moving back, and you see multiple different segments of him throughout time moving backwards, not being able to connect with him, and he's wondering what's happening. He says, none but I, Diavolo, should be able to move within erased time. What is this is what Requiem is. Yes, what you see indeed is indeed reality. Your ability indeed sees what will occur, however. So what is happening, he himself mentions Diavolio, who is the guy who activates Golden Experience Requiem. He is trying to attack him, and now he's surprised. He was kind of suggesting maybe is this an illusion, this and that, so he was trying to see if this is actual reality, because He believes that there's no ability or stand that should be able to be above his, and there's no way that his his ability isn't working at all. So he can't believe it, and he's questioning it, and he says, I should be the only one to be able to move within race time. And it is weird, like I said, it's supposed to be rewind time. Usually when you see characters rewinding time, they basically play out what happens and then they rewind it. But with his case, he doesn't need to play it out. He can just see what happens, and he can technically stop time and then rewind it. Whereas the other ones, they just rewind the time. They don't stop it. But he does it, and he was put him in a place where he stopped. But then, as you guys can see, the Golden Experience Requiem is able to talk, and he's like, no. This is what Requiem is, and this is reality. So he basically tells him that yes, this is truly happening, so this isn't an illusion. And he goes on further to explain what he meant by that, as he goes on to say, you will never arrive at the reality that will occur. None who stand before me shall do so, no matter what abilities they may wield. This is Golden Experience Requiem. And then Giovanni, I shall not even allow your time. What am I saying? To lament on your death. So what is happening? Now he's explained the full scope of what's happening. He said, you will never arrive to the reality that will occur, because he can see through the future what reality is going to happen, and he can prevent that from happening by rewinding time. And he's telling him that you cannot prevent the reality that will occur, and whatever reality that will occur is what he's going to make it, which is, no matter what you do, I'm going to rewind back time and then stop you. So basically, they both have the power to rewind time. Kind of like it's kind of like what happened with Dio when he was fighting against Jotaro, and when they were fighting against each other, they both had the same ability of stop time. The only difference is this isn't exactly the same ability. They're just two different levels in extent. His one was basically he can see through the future, the Crimson King, and then pretty much stop time and then rewind it, so he can do whatever he wants or erase that part. And then Golden Experience Requiem, he basically he will not allow you to arrive to the reality. So like if a person is stronger than him and would kill him, the reality is that he would die, but they will never arrive at that reality. So even if they're more powerful than him, they will not be able to achieve their accomplish their goals, because as they try to attack him, it will just get reverted, and that's what he's trying to say. And he says, "None who before me who shall stand, none who stand before me shall do so, no matter what abilities they may wield." Now, this part is very important, and this is the part where I think a lot of these JoJo fans didn't take into consideration. And by not taking this into consideration, it kind of ruins some of the argument that they're making. So the argument that they were making, that I'm going against, is the fact that, well, his stand was able to move through stop time, or time being stopped and altered. So that means that he's above time itself and is faster than time, right? But as he explained right there, he said, no matter what abilities they may wield. So he's saying that none who come up against him that have any abilities will, be able to achieve what they want. That's how Golden Experience Requiem works. So their abilities would not work. He's saying that their abilities, no matter what their abilities are, he can revert it. So why is this important? Because the assumption is that, he was able to move through stop time because of speed alone. He's faster than time, which I don't know how he would get that much faster, but apparently he's faster than time. But that's not true. The only reason he was able to move through his stop time is because no ability of theirs should work. Once when Golden Experience Requiem activates, whatever ability that is there will not work on him and will be reverted. So even though he can stop time, he has his ability of Golden Experience Requiem trumps his ability. So his ability will not work on him effectively. So that's why he was able to move. And that really disproves the argument that people are making that, he can do it faster than time itself. That isn't true. The only reason he was able to move through the stop time was because the Golden Experience Requiem's ability basically prevents any of the other abilities and reverses them, because those abilities are a form of action. So the reason he was able to move in the stop time was because his ability was activated, countering his ability, and as it was countering his time-stopping ability, it was reversing it, so he was able to move through it. It wasn't through his sheer speed alone. It never mentioned his speed. I don't know where they got the whole speed thing. They're like, well, he was able to move through stop time, so that's obviously speed. But he himself explained that the abilities, that none of their abilities will work on him. So clearly the ability is the problem, not the speed. He's not saying that he's so fast. He's not saying that, I'm so fast that I'm above it. He's saying that your ability in general will not work on me me because no matter what the abilities, it's not going to work on me. So that is a clear-cut, distinct difference that you need to take into consideration. And this is why a lot of people need to read these stories far more clearly, because they just get stupid assumptions like, well, they look at the surface level shit like, oh, this character was able to move through stop time. That means that they're faster than time itself. That's why. But then in the story they state that, oh, none of these abilities work on me because my ability trumps your ability. That's the only reason. He's saying that Golden Experience Requiem, which is an ability, is what is allowed him to move through his stop time, because his stop time shouldn't work on him. So it's not his speed. It never mentioned that he was moving so fast that it wouldn't work on him. If it was, they would have just said that. So I disagree with that, and that is a big hindrance on Golden Experience Requiem in this fight, especially against somebody like Goku or other characters that are really fast. And because even though the ability that makes the ability sound more impressive, that's only against other abilities. Going really fast is not an ability. That's just regular speed. That's just using. You can say it's an ability, but an ability is pretty much like a technique or a superpower, like lasers and stuff like that. That's kind of like an ability. But going super fast is just your natural capabilities of anybody, just going really fast. And yes, he can rewind time, but like I said, the argument is if he gets speedless, even of his ability to rewind time, it would need to be activated by him. So it's not like something that happens instantly. It does happen individually from Giorno, but it happens by Golden Experience Requiem setting it off. So if you can bypass his speed and take him out, then basically it wouldn't work. So that's the counter argument that people are making, but the argument that the JoJo fans are making is that he was able to move through stop time, so Goku or somebody like him wouldn't be able to attack him anyway because he's just too fast, no matter what. So it wouldn't work on him. I don't agree with that. Like I said, I think that's kind of like, BS as a way. But let's go on to the next, to the death loop, and why I don't believe that that's also true, because I want to go through some of the feats that I have saved up here. Or some of the images I've saved up here, because they're going to illustrate more of my point. So I'm going to get on to the next one, and then I'm going to go back to talking about the Golden Experience Requiem is a ability to revert everything to zero, specifically because that's the most important part. But after this, like I said, the reason why the death loop doesn't just activate from a touch, and he has to actually kill them, is because we see this even in the manga panel where he's attacking both Diavolo and Golden Experience Requiem. As he jumps in, he goes to attack and says, "Oh, my forecasts are a reality that is guaranteed to occur. My invincible Crimson King was meant to achieve victory." And then he gets punched multiple times and getting damaged severely as he's doing so. And then as that happens, he pretty much died. And then Giorno goes on to say, although I didn't get a clear look at Requiem's ability either, for some reason, I know in my heart he no longer has anywhere to go, especially not in reality ever again. He will never even arrive at the reality of death infinitely. So he's also stating that he himself doesn't know how the ability works because it affected him to stop time, but not his stand, because his stand was above the, erase time ability that that Crimson King had. And he said that he will never arrive as a reality and he will keep on dying. So he's stuck in the death loop, but he had to die first. So for the arguments of people, like I said, making where they're saying he just touches them or he just activates it, they die. When he activates his Golden Experience Requiem, yes, they will be put in that death loop or they'll be set up, but he would have to kill them first still. So either, because when it first happens, if you attack him and he can't kill you, it's just going to rewind you back to your actions before you try to attack him. That's it. But once when you kill him, now you're dead. Now it activates a second phase that I like to call, where it puts them in the death loop, where now instead of revert them back before they attack, it reverts them back before they died, so they can die again in many different ways in other realities, alternate realities that keep on regenerating into new circumstances. And then also people, the reason why they say that he has infinite speed is because in when you read the manga, they have like an additional thing where they show the stands and they explain it, and then they explain the destructive power and the speed and all that stuff, and then they went on to say none for destructive force, speed, range, permeance, precision, growth. So they all said none. And then the ability, it says, a stand power that manifested when a stand was pierced with the arrow. The strength of the attacker's will and actions will be reverted to 0. Those who are struck by this power will even have their deaths reverted to 0 and thus continuously die an infinite number of times. So, like I said, it's his ability. So the ability, his ability, it trumps the other ability. It had nothing to do with his speed. Even it says right here, his ability, he has the ability to, revert all the actions to 0. So, obviously, when the ability was activated and he was stuck in his one, he was reverting his ability. That's why he was able to move through it. Like, you guys can't, like the attack. Like, if they try to punch him, it reverses the attack. And if he uses his ability, like, erase time, it reverses the erase time itself. So it was counteracting his ability. So no, it's not, it doesn't have anything to do with his speed. So his speed is not involved. And the fact that it says none, it said none for destructive force also. It doesn't mean that it means it's infinite. All that means is they don't have, they haven't really calculated what it would be. They don't know the extent because it was a short time period where we saw it. We didn't see him, when he used this ability, when Giorno used his ability, it was only towards the tail end of the series, and it was for only a bit, so we don't have enough information. So that's what they're pretty much trying to say there. So how does this help Goku win a fight against him if he can rewind time and stuff? Well, first, for the death loop, like I said, he has to kill Goku. He can't just touch him. So he couldn't beat him. So the argument now would be, would it actually be a stalemate? And is that the case? I think not. I think Goku would be able to kill him for 2 reasons. One, due to the fact that people's arguments are, he was able to move through stop time, so he's faster than time itself, and Goku can't do that. That's not the case. He was only able to do that because his Golden Experience Requiem's ability reverses or counteracts any other ability or move. So it was counteracting his ability of time erasure, and that's why he was able to move through it. Also, the fact that since he has an ability that's superior to it, that means that those abilities won't work on him. So even if he does use stop time, it wouldn't work on him because his ability, not because of his speed. It never mentioned his speed. So technically, Goku could speed blitz Golden Experience Requiem. Until you guys have provided actual feats of speed where he's shown, there is no argument. The best to do is go based off of Giorno. When Giorno got his power increased by the arrow, you would have to, the stand would be basically on terms of power with Giorno. So meaning that when he had his regular speed, and then when he had the arrow lodged into him, that upgraded him. So whatever Giorno's upgraded speed is, that's the same speed for his Golden Experience Requiem or his stand. Because their power should be similarly linked, so it should have the same speed. The only thing that gave him more of an advantage or was able to do different than his stand user was the fact that since the ability activates, that means that the stand can individually do it, and as it individually does it and it activates, it counteracts the ability itself. So only the stand can do it, the stand user can't. But everything else, their speed and their stats should be the same. So we should be adding, Giorno's speed to Golden Experience Requiem, and then when we do that, he's not fast enough. So he's not fast enough to counteract Goku's speed at all. So if he fought against Goku, Goku would be able to speed blitz him because he wasn't moving through speed through stop time. So no, Golden Experience Requiem does not have inaccessible speed. He does not have infinite speed. I don't even know if the JoJo characters have light speed, but even if, let's say, they do, Goku's way beyond light speed itself. So Goku does not need to have inaccessible speed or infinite speed. No character needs to have that to be able to speed blitz him. They would just need to be faster than Giorno in his upgraded form and the Golden Experience Requiem, which the only reason he was able to, like I said, once again, and I keep on, saying this and explaining this because a lot of people really use this as a counter argument to Goku could just speed blitz him, and it's the fact that he can, he's able to move it through stop time, so he would be too fast for him. No. Goku would be too fast for him. So let's say Goku doesn't speed blitz him because that's not his kind of character most of the time. Let's say he doesn't speed blitz him. He reverts Goku back. Goku, if he gets reverted back and realizes that, hey, look, his ability, when it activates, it keeps on reverting me back. I'm going to probably have to speed blitz him and kill him. People act like, once when he's reverted back, then he can't do anything. No. The only way he cannot do anything is if he's too slow to react in time. So let's say he tries to, because it needs to reactivate every time it does it, right? So it did it the first time, it rewinds him back the first time, and then Goku realizes that, okay, I don't want to just beat him quick, but it's clear that I can't do anything since it's activated, so I'm going to have to speed blitz him this time. Unless you're saying that it instantly reverts everything back in time, which it doesn't. It does take time. If you saw while, he was fighting against Golden Experience Requiem. I mean, not Golden Experience Requiem. When he was fighting against the Crimson King, he was literally still able to move and perceive what was happening. It didn't happen instantly. He was slowly reverting, time backwards. It doesn't do it instantly, so it does take some time. So if he was doing it against Goku and he was fighting against Goku would be fighting against him and it would try to revert it back, but if he was too fast, he could hit him before he could react to, do anything. Because they were interacting, it was just that he wasn't powerful enough or fast enough to do anything. Because the only reason the Crimson King, sorry, I got it backwards. Crimson King was able to move through his stop time is because it's his ability. It's not because he's faster than time itself. That's the only reason he's able to move through it, because obviously your ability shouldn't affect you. Goku should be able to speed blitz him, but even if, let's say, Goku isn't fast enough to do that, would it still work on Goku? I don't think so. Here's why. People keep on going based off of the surface level idea of no limit fallacy, where it's like, oh well, he's just it would work on anybody, but that's not how it works in Dragon Ball. We've had it explained countless times in Dragon Ball that powerful hacks and abilities do not work on Goku unless that person that is using that hacks or ability is either stronger than Goku, strong as Goku, or nearly equivalent, or just a bit below him. But if they're significantly below him, like Golden Experience Requiem and Giorno GER should be, then it wouldn't work on him. So just like with Hit, remember Hit was able to stop time himself directly, and as he stopped time, Goku was still able to force his way through the future and attack him, and Hit was even surprised. Even later on when they had the rematch and he tried to go to his parallel dimension, Goku was able to breach into his parallel dimension and go through the stop time by just powering up alone. He didn't even fire the attack at that point. He powered it up and broke it, and then was able to blast through it and attack him directly. And also with Super Saiyan Vegito versus Buhan, where Buhan transformed him into a candy and he was still able to fight. The ability worked, but it didn't stop him. So they're still able to muscle their way throughout these abilities. So it doesn't give him an automatic win con in that regard either. So if we even want to take that argument into consideration that Goku couldn't just speed blitz him, we also know that in Dragon Ball, these characters, when it comes to these abilities and techniques, it will not work on them effectively if they're way weaker. And we know he's way weaker. So let's say even if he did activate it, Goku, unlike, Diavolo, who's too weak to be able to do anything, Goku would be able to muscle his way through it. So just like how Golden Experience Requiem, where, stated that, it stated itself that I'm above any of these abilities and none of these abilities will work on me. It's the same thing with Dragon Ball characters. None of those abilities will work on them if they're weaker. So they're pretty much be in the same case. The only difference for Goku and him is that Goku wouldn't be using ability or a technique to be able to beat him. He would just beat him through sheer power and sheer speed alone. So he wouldn't be able to handle him. So if he activated and tried to reverse time, Goku would just muscle and power his way through it, just like how he did through Hit's time skip, and be able to beat the living shit out of him and killing him. And some people might say, well, he can't sense it, he can't see him, but he can sense his energy. So it doesn't really matter even in that regard. So whatever argument you guys are going to use, it doesn't work. And also, that also shows that Goku was able to move through stop time too. And some of you guys are going to say, well, it was because, in Dragon Ball, he was surpassing the ability. It wasn't he was just surpassing time, he was surpassing his ability. Yeah, and the same thing with this. The only reason Golden Experience Requiem was able to move through it wasn't because he was faster than time itself. It's because his ability was surpassing that ability. The only difference is in Dragon Ball, their power alone can surpass abilities, whereas his ability surpasses other abilities. And when he goes against Goku, he's not going to be able to handle him. Unless if Goku's doing like some type of technique or an ability, then he would be able to, trump that. But sheer power alone, he cannot. So Goku, let's say he tried to do it, he would muscle his way through, beat the living shit, like I said, and he couldn't be able to handle him. So he would lose in that regard. So rewinding time is not going to work on him. Time manipulation in general It would not work on somebody like Goku because he's too powerful. Because that's what pretty much this is. It rewinds reality and time. Some people say, oh, it messes with reality, but it's just pretty much times because it doesn't create a new reality. It just rewinds the already existing one, which rewinds time. Because space and time are pretty much connected. Even though he said reality multiple times, he was rewinding, time itself. But even so, Goku's would be able to be above his, reality warping abilities. I don't think it would work on him, even if it was activated properly. So let's go through it again and explain everything individually and specifically. First, talking about the infinite death loop, because that's the easiest to, debunk. It does not just it does activate what the Golden Experience Requiem, but he would still have to kill him to put him in the death loop itself, or it would just revert him back, because that was the whole point. That once when it activates, it reverts you back to the action previously until they're killed. Then it reverts them back to their death, and then keeps on putting them in a cycle of death. And he literally had to attack him directly to do so. If that was the case, because if that was the case, there would be no reason for him to punch him to death. He would have just been like, you're already put in the death loop, and just left. But he had to literally attack him. So that's the easiest to, counter. And then the Golden Experience Requiem itself, which reverting all actions back to zero, the arguments are, well, he would be able to reverse it, and Goku can't do anything against it. And if Goku tries to speed blitz him, he was able to move through stop time. So that means that he's faster than time itself. And for Goku to be able to speed blitz him, which they agree that if he gets speed blitz, even with his ability, it doesn't just activate instantly, as we also see that when he did it against his enemy was still able to move and perceive what was happening. He was just not strong enough to do anything about it. But Goku would be strong enough to do something about it, and they know it. And him reversing time, he would have to do it instantly. So that was the argument. But the problem with the argument is the only reason he was able to move through stop time wasn't because he was beyond time itself or so fast. It was due to the fact that the Golden Experience Requiem's ability trumps other abilities, and it was trumping his ability of time stop. So he was able to surpass it through that ability alone, not through speed. So technically Goku would be able to speed blitz him and not have to be that faster than time to take him out. And then also the biggest argument I have for this is, even if, let's say, argument wise that he would have like that speed and Goku can't match up that speed, Goku would still be able to kill him due to the fact that in Dragon Ball, just like in this series, with his ability being above other abilities not working on him, Dragon Ball power alone can do that. So Goku just needs to be more powerful than a person, and their technique or ability will not affect him or harm him, or have less of an effect on him, at least. And since they are clearly way different in terms of power, that would mean that it would not work. So even if he did rewind time, Goku would just muscle his way through it and obliterate that and shatter that reality and kill him. Especially since he can destroy multiple universes. Goku already in, Battle of Gods was, shaking a macrocosm which has multiple universe-sized realms connected to it. Meaning that he would be above reality itself. So this would just be a universal level of effect. It would not affect Goku. Goku would be able to break this. I don't know why people keep on ignoring that or forgetting that Dragon Ball characters' hacks abilities don't work on them unless they're, strong enough, which he's nowhere near strong enough. And like with the whole argument of he was moving through stop time, if we want to use that argument, then Goku is also moving through stop time. But people acknowledge the fact that he was surpassing the ability, not the time itself. But when it comes to him, they're like, oh, no, he was surpassing time itself, not the ability. Which clearly isn't true, because they stated that already verbatim or when he was talking to him, and then in the list where they stated that was his ability in general. So it wouldn't work on him. So even the argument of it being a stalemate wouldn't work, and Golden Experience Requiem speed would most likely be equivalent to Giorno's speed, which would be nowhere near to Goku's speed. So no matter which way you cut it, he's not going to win. So no, he would not kill him, because Death Loop doesn't work by touch. He would have to kill him, which he doesn't have the power. And no, it would not also be a stalemate, because Goku could speed blitz him. He is not faster than time. His ability was able to negate his time hacking ability. So that's why he was able to move through it, not through speed. So Goku would still be able to speed blitz him, and Goku wouldn't even need to speed blitz him, because we already know that in Dragon Ball you can surpass these abilities and techniques by power alone, and he would be way more powerful than him. So even if he did try to activate it, Goku would be able to muscle through it, like how he did to hit the first time and the second time and kill him. So by Goku just powering up, he'll be able to break through it. And since he's being above, a universe, he would be also above his ability itself and be able to kill him. And speed and strength, using your speed and strength to kill somebody or attack them, is not an ability. And yes, it says it reverts actions to 0, but like I said, that only works on other characters where these hacks abilities would work on him. But in Dragon Ball, those hacks abilities wouldn't work. So yes, it would revert actions to 0, but Goku's too powerful, and the way the Dragon Ball, power scaling structure works, it would not revert him to 0 because his power and ability would counteract that. So yeah, Golden Experience Requiem, Giorno Giovanni, the JoJo universe would not beat Goku. Goku would easily speed blitz them and body them, and he wouldn't even need to speed blitz them. He can just muscle his way through and pretty much obliterate them. So that's pretty much it for this video. I know I'm going to have a lot of disagreements with you guys. If you guys disagree with me, put it in the comment section down below, because I know a lot of people make this argument. I've seen a lot of times. I just gotten sick and tired of hearing it though. I've been like, this is just wrong. It's incorrect. It's ridiculous. A lot of these, JoJo fans are saying this shit, and power scales in general. It's the people that say this, I can't take them serious. If you're a true power scaler and you say this, in my eyes, you're a terrible power scaler. I'm just being honest. I think you're pretty trash at power scaling, because there's no possible way that you guys could overlook all those other things and the misunderstand it to this extent. It's like only the people that are surface level thinkers when it comes to power scaling would say this, but people who will actually understand the verses and how it works and read it and actually, carefully went into it would be able to understand that wouldn't work. So I don't want to hear any more. Giorno could stalemate Goku. Giorno can beat Goku. Giorno can handle Goku. No, he can't. He would get fucking destroyed. That is it. That's the end of discussion. His abilities would not affect Goku. Goku would be able to break it because it's weak little reality bullshit. It's universal level shit that is still too weak, and Goku is on a low complex multiversal level of power. Or if you don't even believe in that, at least high multiversal levels of power, which is still way above his ability itself and their power. So yes, Goku wins, and that's pretty much it for this discussion. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.